All right, so part three of the Helene experience. As you can see, been a while since the video, obviously, but that's also due to just regular complications and that stuff like first world problem at this point as being one of the on the better end of all this. But yeah, no. After those couple days of trying to find food and get good water and all this other stuff. It's the sort of the time period of going back to work and dealing with I was like dealing with all that because I was like you're pretty much getting people in from all over people who are just, now that we're now that the store is being like able to be open, so you got to go through the whole thing of like throwing out what's bad, what's all that other stuff, while also giving people as much as you can of the food that you can prepare, because at this time we still was under the advisory of like, hey, the water we don't know, so you can't do hardly anything, you can't really clean or make anything that has to do with water. So at this moment I was like, it's pretty much just helping out where you can, with people and stuff like that, or getting stuff out of the way and stuff like that. And it's like it's hectic, but it's also like understandable, where just like you don't know where people coming from at this time too. At this, I mean, I like a lot at this time. At the same is the fact of seeing people that you really couldn't get in contact with, because also during those like couple of days or something like that, is not only was service going in and out, but there was actually like a couple of times where it was just like for 2 days where it was just like it'll be there, then it would just be gone. Then it'd just be there, then it'd just be gone. So at this moment, you're sort of realizing like, oh snap, you survived. How is it on your end? What happened with you and all this other stuff? Who's not here and whatnot? So like in that moment, in that time, it's really just kind of like sighs of relief while also understanding the broad scope of everything, because like everybody's not at your same spot. Everybody doesn't have your POV. People are on this side or here. Like we had a couple people that was able to actually make it out of Chimney Rock, where it's like, but you hear that it's so devastating over there that they're kind of really lucky in order to even be alive and being able to even be here and talk. If they was, I was like, some people still weren't able. You're talking to people, then some people like I couldn't get out of my driveway, yet alone out of my area and stuff like that. And then some people you just kind of just have to be like, we're just gonna have to wait to see if they sort of show up. Like we knew people were accounted for, but but at the same time they weren't able to access or come out or whatever like that. Which hey, you would have thought that hey, there's no biggie. You don't have. I was like, obviously, we just all went through something. There's no necessary amount of like time that you need to be here, even though we were sort of wrong on how sort of these companies decided to be in a lot of this situation. But you just sort of helping out where you can. I was like, make sure that people are having food and stuff like that. Like they come here and it's like, not only can you shop for food, but I was like, in some cases, like you needed something to drink or whatever, you had to sit here and make sure you charge your devices and stuff like that, just because you don't have that same luxury going home, or not the same way that you're able to charge things up and stuff like that. So it's really just hectic there. And as we just keep going on with the days and stuff like that, I was like, it started to die down, at least where I'm at, just because you're starting to see like more people are having more access to stuff, and they're getting, and people are out here giving the water and stuff like that maybe you might not be able to see or whatnot. I was like, there's a gym called Strong Gym that was over here making sure that they was out here giving all the food and all the clothes, and then I was like, what they were telling me, basically whatever FEMA wouldn't allow to be brought to their places and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know what the guidelines were in there, so I was like, I'm not really gonna say whether or not what was allowed or whatever, but I just knew that you could bring anything here and it'll try to get to the people, or people could come here and come get it, whether that was batteries, hygiene product, clothes and stuff like that. So I was like, while I didn't get, we was able to give up some canned clothes, because I was like, I feel like that was probably the more like the best thing to do in comparison to being like, just my clothes. I was like, and then by then there was then a lot of the places just started racking up on clothes and stuff that there was really no way that you could really even give out stuff, outside of like, some thrift outlets or whatever. Goodwills were closed, so that doesn't make sense. But it was that what it was. Um, yeah, so I was like, so in that time period, once everybody, I felt like we was open up to have access to go to places. I was like, we started getting so many supplies that it's almost like we didn't need them as like the same amount of time that we did before. That it's like, okay, we got to figure out how they got to figure out how to give it to other places. So some people, some people I knew was like, oh, we're traveling here. This church is over here doing this stuff and stuff like that. So I was like, that was cool to know, while in all this time that all these other spots were getting taken care of to like the best capability, just because I was like, just because you don't know, and you only really know about like your area of like, maybe like the Salvation Army or something like that, but you realizing that some of these people are over here that's being like, no, we're out here also distributing things. And I was like, that was cool, that was fine. And then once we're sort of able to ramp up on things, people got to restart like, stocking their fridge, or having like food, because it's like, there's a difference between you cooking the food that you had before all of, your electronic stuff, just refrigerator starts going bad, all the food go bad. Then you got to get food that you got to know that you got to have basically in some form of survival, because if you ain't got any power, you can't really heat anything up. If you ain't got a grill, you can't really cook anything. So you got to start buying that thing. So now people are starting to having to buy actual food now. I was like I said, are able fortunate to get things back up and going compared to some other places that still don't have water, or the pipes are still burst or gone even, or no power in general, stuff like that. Cause I was like, we was running off generator for several days. I was like, there were porta potties, I was like, cause you can't use any of the water or nothing like that. So at this point, making food and stuff like that, and for I want to say 98, 99% of people were really just thankful of just like thanks for being open, or thanks for helping out, thanks for giving food. You had a couple people here that you could tell like they just didn't understand like what was going on, even though they was in it. They might have just been so well off that they don't understand like any of the stuff that's going on about the mass amount of people that's missing, or dead, or anything like that. Um, but it is all, but in those like 4 or 5 days, and even a little bit on, it is really weird, and even still to right now, of the amount of returning as if nothing ever happened. I was like, you get back into like the workflow of everything, but you still realize that the people, like some people ain't here because they ain't got a home, or a tree is still at they like through their home, or their vehicle doesn't work, or whatever like that. And you know, while I know some people like individually people are helping. I don't know about job wise how much that helped, how much there was of help in that situation, which I think is sort of a little shitty on some parts, of just the fact that it's like, it ain't like, you ask for this. It ain't even something on like a level of you decide to have surgery or something like that, where you're gonna be out, where it's like this is a actual natural disaster. Like I was like, people need to be taken care of and thought of and stuff like that. But on an individual level, community level, I was like, that was able to work. Um, yeah, I was like, it really was really just odd. But at the same time, hey, while you're over here, you're making sure that like, hey, like it was insane of the amount of like as soon as you put bread, it almost really was like 2020, where it would just kind of like, as soon as you put something out, it was just gone. Like the meat, I mean, I was like, I was like the meat in some aspects, but really like the bread was just going. Like the fast you could put it out there, it's just going. Um, I was like, I was like, you didn't. I was like, you did that for a while. Have people just like being like, are you just regularly shopping? Like, yo, I need a TV. Like that's like kind of odd right now. I was like, that you're over here just being like, yo, I didn't need this 83-inch right here. Hey, maybe TV got ruined and they need a new TV. But at this time, power really wasn't back up, because I was like, It's like power for most people at this time didn't really get going until pretty much after about like a week or some change. But I was like, even then, how fast that was for a lot of people, you just sort of got to give a shout out to like everybody else just like been working like double overtime and all this other stuff, working from the wee hours to the late nights, trying to get everything done. I was like, for me myself, it took probably maybe, I want to say maybe I was like 2 weeks to get power back. It took probably about a week, no, probably about like a week or so for me not to have questions about my water. Like I said, it was very cloudy in the way where it's like, I don't. I was like, I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not gonna act like I wasn't brushing my teeth or taking a shower in it because water, like it was cold as hell, but I had water. I was fortunate to be that spot. So I was like while they going back and forth with the water good or not, it was just like, hey, I'm not really getting this information. Like, yes, I gotta use my best judgment. And I was like, brushing teeth is not the same thing to me as drinking the water, but I can understand how that can still cause problems or whatever that might be. But yeah, and I was like, and I'm talking to people when I do have service and stuff like that, and finding how it is that there are other locations, and basically just like still not knowing, just seeing pictures and videos and stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, Asheville is crazy, it's worse, or there's nothing here in Swananoa, and things like that. And so when you meet these people coming from these places, it's just like, and it's just like the look on their face is just like, I like no, like there was no warning for any of this and nothing like that at all. But yeah, that was really more so of that week of just really getting back in the flow of things. Because I was like, while I do understand of, like, you do have to sometimes, you would have to sort of give some people some relevancy of normals, of being normal in this situation, just because it at least gives a little bit of hope where just like, okay, we get this back up and then we get this back up, and it's like a domino effect, even though everything else is around is just bad, but it gives you hope on like it's going to take some time, but it's like as long as you can. I was like, but also basically just having perspective that hey, a lot of people was fortunate and a lot of people weren't, but just don't take it for granted. And also don't be a dick about it either, because I was like, that was sort of sometimes the case too, where it was just like, it's like, I get it, you had a generator or your house wasn't touched or whatever like that. Like, some people end up getting swept away, like houses, people don't have places. Like, there's like appreciate what you got right now. Yeah, no, I was like that. I was like, it was. I was like, and I'm not gonna act like that wasn't a blur, because I was like, because I was like, if you start your day out and you got to be out doing stuff, you got to have it early. I was like, we was having curfews, and I was like, I really think that's really because there was so much debris and stuff around that's really the part where it's like it wasn't safe to really drive after something, because it's black, it's pitch black, like it's like basically whatever you thought of people growing up when there wasn't lights, that's what it was. Like it was like, oh man, you don't realize a lot of these things until it's like apparently not there. Uh, yeah, I was like, not too much crazy on this week, because like I said, it was really sort of the end of at least where I'm at, experience of the craziness that's going on. Just because, like I said, things were trying to get back in flow with things. People are basically being put back to work after only really about like 4 days, and it's I was like, what? It's one of them things where it's like it's back to like 2020, to where it's like, okay, there's some jobs where it's just like, yeah, yes, hey, look, the way they have things, you got to sort of make money because you're not getting paid in a lot of these situations. So you sort of have to go back to work, but in some instances, outside of like you doing some type of like grocery, or especially like if you're working like doctor or nursing homes and stuff like that, like everybody else didn't really need the push. But then again, you don't realize how a lot of things are interconnected, where it's like you don't think that this spot it's a need, but then you don't realize like, oh, that connects to the pharmacy and people need their meds, because it's at least been about a good week and Since you don't know about how this hurricane was, you probably ain't ready for that, prepared for that, any of that type of thing either. So I was like, so you don't. So at the same time, while I'm like some of these places didn't need to be up. Some of them did, because you also don't know who had access to what, how, the traveling and stuff like that. Because there's still places where it's like it's hard to drive, even though you can make it there, just because power lines, trees down. They're working on stuff, so traffic's built up. You got to take alternate ways. At this point, people also just starting to clean out their house and their places. That's when you start really realizing that after this amount of time, is because like there's no more rain, so everything is just sunny, hot, dry, and it's one of them weird things where it's like a hurricane just came in with that much water, and then it seems like Mother Nature was just done to where it was just like, all right, I don't have no more water to give, and it's like it gave some people like where's the process of being like able to clean out their stuff and stuff, like the fortunate people that still had a place, but maybe their stuff was washed out or whatever. But yeah, I was like, yeah, a lot of people you just know that just lost a home or had things or whatever like that. People that just like lost it all, and you just having to hear about this through the echo chambers or through word of mouth. I should have said, or if you're able to get service at this time, because like I said, that wasn't working. The internet's not going on, and I was like, I know that at this point, talking about internet and stuff like that, it's like really like talk about being like the first world problem. But at the same time, people are still trying to find people, so you still need that, because the word of mouth, I was like, the way it travels is that by the time you probably get it, that area, like how I said was getting gas done. Trying to find people. How is there really a way if you can't contact? So the only thing you can do is for those people from the very outside is just leaving a message, hoping somebody sees it and somebody stays in that part of town, or you got enough connections or whatever in order to hear about something. Um, but yeah, no, I was like, on my end of like everybody that I work with and stuff like that, I was like everybody was bodily fine. Like I said, there's some people that I knew that house is gone. Some people who've seen the horrific ends of all this survived a lot of it or whatever. But the the being present part of it, there I was like, good. Everything else, really going to have to see, because yeah, because I was like at that moment, I feel like everybody is just still on you were still on adrenaline at that point of trying to be like survive while also being like I got to do work stuff, while also I got to do the stuff I got to do at home and whatnot. So yeah. Anyway, probably only I was like after this, I was like, this is sort of done of like my personal experience through all this. I was like, I wasn't able to really. I wasn't one of the people with the chainsaws going out and nothing like that. I just try to do my best of like clothes or things like that, and just checking in on people, buying stuff for people and stuff like that if they couldn't get to it and things like that. But yeah, kind of any little thing kind of helps in these situations. I was like, probably. I was like, I know that I was like, I'll do at least one more, and that one will just be of how looking at things from then, and maybe just keeping up with stuff. I know there's other people that got um, Hurricane Helene channels and stuff like that, and I think they're doing a really good job or whatever. So maybe I was like maybe in this video, for my next video, I'll post some people that I've seen, that's still doing updates or showing what it is. Cause I was like, like I said, I was like, I don't really have all the pictures and videos like how some places is and stuff like that. And also, I'm not gonna lie, it was also like, unless you were out there actually like boots on the ground doing stuff, if you're driving, it's really hard to sort of also record while also trying to dodge power lines and trees here in that sense. But anyway, I was like, if you watch this, I appreciate it. Help out people however you can, if you feel it, you know. But it is really weird that it just seems like it's already over, and I mean like where I'm like being forgotten over, not like darn it's over, like. But yeah. Anyway, Let me know. Talk to me. Peace out.